The greatest answer ever given. Vertical bar Adi Shankaracharya and the birth of Nirvana Shatakam, Part 1. There are moments in history when a single answer changes the course of human thought forever. An answer so profound that it continues to guide seekers more than 1200 years later. This is the story of one such answer. It is the story of a young monk who stood before his guru not with pride, not with scholarship, and not with the desire to impress, but with the certainty born of direct realization. That young monk was Adi Shankaracharya. His answer became one of the greatest spiritual compositions ever written, the Nirvana Shatakam. But before we hear those immortal words, we must travel back to ancient India, to a time when the land echoed with the chants of the Vedas, when sages meditated in forests and caves, and when the search for truth was considered the highest purpose of human life. Adi Shankaracharya was not an ordinary child. From an early age, his brilliance astonished everyone around him. He mastered the Vedas while still a boy. Yet knowledge alone did not satisfy him. He was not interested merely in memorizing sacred texts. He longed to experience the truth that those scriptures pointed toward. He wanted to know the reality that never changes, the self that remains untouched by birth and death. After embracing the life of a renunciate at a very young age, Shankaracharya set out in search of a true guru. The scriptures declare that even the greatest seeker requires the guidance of one who has already crossed the ocean of ignorance. Knowledge received only through books can illuminate the intellect, but a wisdom that liberates must awaken through direct guidance and personal realization. His search finally brought him to the banks of the sacred Narmada River. Hidden among the mountains was a quiet cave where the great sage Govindapada lived in deep meditation. The cave was simple. There were no palaces, no temples filled with riches, no crowds of followers. There was only silence. Yet within that silence rested a wisdom that had been passed down through an ancient lineage from Govindapada to Govindapada, and soon it would be entrusted to Shankaracharya. As the young monk approached the entrance of the cave, his heart was filled with humility. He was not seeking fame or recognition. He sought only truth. He entered quietly and bowed before the sage. Govindapada slowly opened his eyes. Before him stood a young ascetic whose face radiated serenity beyond his years. The guru did not ask about his family. He did not ask his name. He did not ask which village he came from or what scriptures he had studied. Instead, he asked a single question that has echoed through the centuries. Who are you? At first glance, it seems like the simplest question imaginable. Every one of us believes we know the answer. If someone asks us who we are, we immediately reply with our name, our profession, our nationality, or our relationships. We say, I am this person. I belong to this family. I work in this profession. Yet none of these truly answer the question. Imagine that someone asks you, who are you? You answer with your name. But your name was given to you after you were born. Before that name existed, did you not already exist? If your name were changed tomorrow, would you become a different person? Perhaps you answer with your occupation. You may say, I am a teacher. I am an engineer. I am a doctor. But people retire. Some lose their jobs. Others change careers completely. If your profession changes, do you cease to exist? Then you may say, I am this body. But think carefully. The body you had as a child is gone. Every cell has changed countless times. Your appearance has changed. Your strength has changed. Yet through every stage of life, there has always been the same feeling of I. If the body changes continuously, can it truly be what you are? The Guru's question was not asking for an identity created by society. It was asking for the deepest truth. Who are you before every label? Who are you before every thought? Who are you before every memory? Who are you before the world tells you who you should be? Most people spend their entire lives without seriously asking this question. They remain busy collecting identities, achievements, possessions, and relationships, believing these define them. Yet all of these are temporary. What is temporary cannot be your eternal nature. Shankaracharya understood the true meaning behind the question. He knew his guru was not asking for information. He was asking for realization. The young monk did not answer by speaking his name. He did not say, "I am Shankara." Instead, from the depths of direct experience, he began to recite verses that would later become famous as the Nirvana Shatakam. His first words were extraordinary. "I am not the mind. I am not the intellect. I am not the ego. I am not the storehouse of memories." With these words, Shankaracharya overturned everything we normally believe about ourselves. Consider your own experience for a moment. Thoughts appear and disappear throughout the day. Some thoughts are joyful, others are painful. Sometimes the mind is calm, and sometimes it is restless. Yet despite these changing thoughts, something within you remains aware of them. If you can observe your thoughts, then you cannot be the thoughts themselves. The same is true of emotions. Happiness comes and goes. Fear comes and goes. Anger rises and fades away. Excitement appears, and later it disappears. Every emotion changes like clouds drifting across the sky. Yet the awareness that knows these emotions never changes. Imagine sitting beside a river. The water flows continuously. New water arrives every moment, yet the riverbank remains still. In the same way, your thoughts, emotions, and experiences flow constantly, but there is something within you that silently observes them all. That silent observer is what the sages call the witness, the Sakshi. The witness never grows old. It is never injured by the body's suffering. It is never stained by the mind's confusion. It simply knows. This insight forms the very foundation of Advaita Vedānta. Most of us spend our lives identifying with everything that changes. We believe we are the body, even though the body changes every moment. We believe we are the mind, even though thoughts come and go. We believe we are our memories, even though many memories fade with time. As long as we identify with what changes, we experience fear, because everything that changes can also be lost. This is why human beings fear old age. They fear illness. They fear failure. They fear death. Every fear arises from identifying with something temporary. Shankaracharya invites us to look deeper. Instead of asking, "What am I experiencing?" ask, "Who is aware of this experience?" Instead of asking, "What am I thinking?" ask, "Who knows these thoughts?" Instead of saying, "I am anxious," pause for a moment and notice that anxiety is being observed. If it is being observed, then the observer must be different from the anxiety itself. This is not merely a philosophical exercise. It is a doorway to inner freedom. The Upaniṣads repeatedly declare that the true self is never born and never dies. It is beyond time. It cannot be cut by weapons, burned by fire, soaked by water, or dried by the wind. These teachings are not asking us to believe something blindly. They invite us to investigate our own experience until we discover the truth for ourselves. That is exactly what Shankaracharya had done. Standing before his guru, he was not repeating memorized scripture. He was speaking from direct realization. The cave remained silent as Govindapada listened. Every word revealed that this young monk had already touched the highest truth described in the Upaniṣads. He was not merely intelligent. He was awakened to the reality that lies beyond the mind itself. Yet Shankaracharya's teaching had only just begun. The verses that followed would dismantle every false identity one by one, revealing the limitless nature of the self that is pure awareness, pure existence, and pure bliss. In the next part of this journey, we will explore the first verse of the Nirvāṇa Ṣaṭkam in depth and discover why Shankaracharya declared that our true nature is far greater than the body, the mind, or even the personality we believe ourselves to be.